Okay, hello everyone. I just want to give a quick demo of the current alpha build of Crosswordle. And just to reiterate a couple things, this is the front-end version of the game with most of the core game mechanics implemented. Smart contracts are not in play currently, and the reason for this is just because iteration speed is much faster when we tackle the front end and just core mechanics of the game before we port those over to smart contracts. So let's get started. This is the home screen. I hit play and then we enter the Wordle mode. So this is phase one of the game. So the idea is we essentially make guesses and try to figure out and guess the Wordle for the given level. And once we, let's say, figure it out, so I'm guessing something like this. Okay, cool. So once we've guessed the correct word, we get a reward. So in this case, we get this letter tile, more specifically a fragment, which shows up over here, and then we can keep guessing. Slate. And then each time we guess, we get a random letter from the word that we guessed. So that's essentially the Wordle mode. Once we have the Wordle mode, we can move over to the crossword mode, which allows us to start placing tiles. So right now what I can do is I can place the letter N here, which uses up that tile, and then I can go ahead and place, let's say I try to place tiles that don't exist. I get that error, and I can do something like that, right? And so I also have a debug mode, obviously, because I'm not going to keep guessing. Oh, right, wrong button. So this is just a theme switcher. So if I hit this, I start earning multiple tiles. So in this current build, one of the core mechanics that I'm experimenting with is the idea of having fragments and runes. So fragments are what we earn from the Wordle mode of the game, and then we use these fragments to place words, right? So then something like that, right? And then once we have this placed, the idea is that these fragments will actually be hidden in the live version of the game, so you won't be able to tell what fragments were placed by players. But then other players can then place what are called runes on top of fragments only. So I can't place the rune here, but I can on top of here. And the idea is we use runes to, let's say, guess what the word is. So let's say user A would put in these fragments, which would show up as just blank blue tiles. And then user 2 would have to somehow figure out what these words are and solve for them. So in this case, let's say I guessed E is here, it's wrong, but then I guessed it here and it's correct. So then that's kind of the idea there. So I can do something like that, right? And then the eventual goal is essentially we'll have random rewards. So let's say some sort of reward here. And then when a user places the entire word here, they'll earn the rewards that are available on this given tile. So yeah, that's basically the two major modes. And then we also have crafting. So crafting is how we convert fragments into runes in this case. So there's two ways of converting fragments to runes. You have the select rune, which is same fragment, four of a kind, and then you get the exact same letter back. So 4 V's would give us a V rune, and then 4 A's would give us an A rune. And the other option is the random rune. So if we put 5 random fragments, we earn a random rune. So in this case, I earned J, and then in this case, I earned O. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at for the alpha build. Again, the main reason for the alpha build or the main goal of the alpha build version of this game is essentially just to be able to test out the different UI, the different gameplay elements, and the different game mechanics, and just flesh these out in an offline slash off-chain version of the game, just to test out all of the game mechanics and to validate all of the core portions of the game before I move on to implementing them on the smart contract side. So yeah, hope you enjoy this quick demo of the alpha build. I think it looks pretty nice, looks pretty fun. Again, subject to change depending on what people think during my playtest whenever that goes live. But until then, this is kind of what it'll look like, at least for now. And yeah, hopefully it'll change for the better. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.